All right, so we are here on the pink couch.
Yes.
Thank you for joining me. And well, I don't even know how to introduce you. I feel like everybody already knows and loves you. You are a favorite around here. You're one of my favorite people. Michelle Morgan. I hear the woo! There's cheers for sure.
Everybody at home.
For sure there's cheers and there's hearts and there's all of that on the chat. You are so well loved, and there are so many reasons for that. But I'm excited. We've been, talking about doing this for a really long time.
Yeah.
This has been in my heart for a while to prepare, resources, have conversations that are from our house, for our house. And I thought, honestly, who better to talk to around the subject we're going to talk about today but you. And this is why we are talking today. It's the Sisterhood comeback season. That is our declaration.
Yes.
Because I truly believe so many of our women need this invitation right now in this season, right, to come back to some of the things maybe they forfeited or walked away from. It's been a wild year and a half? How long has it been? It's a year and a half. Yeah.
Crazy.
And it's been a storm.
Yeah.
And I believe that, God is extending an invitation to many of our women to come back to Him, to come back into healthy relationships, come back to their passions, their purpose. There's so many things. And we're going to talk about all kinds of, beautiful invitations that we're going to come back to. But this morning, we are going to talk about reclaiming our soul. So you have had just an incredible story, and we'll get into it. We're going to, go into some fun get to know you questions through a would you rather game, because I'm a fan of games.
I love it.
And Caleb,
every Connect group, let's play a game.
Let's play a game.
I'm in.
I know, and usually half the room is excited, half the room isn't excited. So if I lose some people here, hang with us. We're not done talking. But I want to get to know some random things about you, okay? Would you rather stay in with a movie and a face mask or have a fun adventure? Think of like a self-care day. What would you prefer?
I'd probably go movie in a face mask.
Yeah.
But I do like adventures, but I feel
Yeah.
like Jamie's the more adventuresome one.
He definitely is.
He likes to
Let's
go on
for a hike.
hikes and like pack a picnic, and I'm like, get me
He's
a face
outdoorsy,
mask.
for sure.
And a fire.
Yeah, and silence and alone time.
Yeah.
Okay, would you rather go deep sea diving or bungee jumping?
Oh. Can I say neither? I would
know,
never
right?
bungee
It's
jump.
the worst.
I just would not do that
Same.
ever.
The
I
idea
can't
of-
handle dropping. My stomach ends up in my throat, and I just can't do it.
So like deep sea diving,
Oh.
if you had to pick?
If I had to pick, I would do that, but I'm also terrified of sharks and all things in the water. So
Right?
maybe I could be in a cage.
Deep sea diving in a cage, which exists.
Yeah.
I would do that too.
down.
Same. I think both. That's a terrible question. Would you rather work in a group or work alone? Were you the
definitely in the group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when it was like group time, like in elementary school, I would get so pumped.
Yes.
Because that means I get to talk.
Yes.
And hang
Just
out.
brings me life.
Yes.
Every report card was
Yes.
like, Michelle can't stop talking. I'm like, why was that a negative thing? Look at me now.
Yes. Oh my gosh. That's right.
Maybe our teachers will be watching and they'll be like, oh.
There's purpose to it.
Yes.
It was
teachers,
what we're made
celebrate
to
your
do.
kids.
Yeah.
They can't stop talking.
If they can't stop talking, maybe they're going to do it for a living.
Yeah.
Okay, would you rather live in BC or PEI? Which side of the country?
Okay. I am an East Coast girl at heart.
Yeah, I know.
But I would say BC because the mountains. There's something
Yeah.
about the mountains that
Gosh,
I
right?
just love.
I know. And the fresh
love,
air.
love.
Hey, the air.
Yes. Yep.
This is interesting. Would you rather have a cook or a maid?
Maid. Hands down. I love to cook.
I need pick maid.
Mondays are meal prep day, and I
you
love
enjoy it. Hey?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like therapeutic.
Yeah.
That process, which I'm grateful for because
I just need someone to clean after I'm done.
Yeah. Imagine somebody who just constantly tidied.
I know, right?
The peace we would have.
I know.
Gosh,
I live with 5 other people. Maybe they could do it.
I know.
I'm just throwing that in there in case they're watching.
We've talked about this. Would you rather have nosy neighbors or noisy neighbors? Nosy or noisy?
I'd probably say nosy. Like,
Yeah.
whatever. We don't have anything to hide.
Right.
It's like, come and nose around.
Yeah.
We'll become friends.
Exactly. Because, noisy, I mean...
Noisy, that could get, yeah.
Yeah, but...
We do have a noisy car that lives near us that grates me. Especially, it's always right after the kids go to bed.
Oh my God.
One time I sent Jamie out. I'm like, babe, you need to go talk to them.
But why do people have those loud mufflers?
I know.
It's like, wow, you're so cool.
Anyway.
Okay, would you rather own a cottage or a houseboat? Last question. Houseboat or cottage?
Probably a cottage.
Got it.
I want a boat, just not a houseboat.
I know, I wondered that because you were talking about the boat.
I do want a boat.
So you're leaning
We're
to
believing
cottage.
for a boat one day.
Yeah, but a cottage definitely is a much better
Yeah.
investment. Yeah, good call. Okay, great. Would you rather? Done. All right, let's dive in. Okay, I really would love to know, maybe take us into the moment when you walked into our church and you were in the environment, which we all miss so much. Worship, everything was happening. What in your body and in your mind, what was happening? Bring us into that.
Oh, gosh. I'm going to cry.
We're all okay with it.
Okay. Here is the thing, though. The context for me walking into church, I always just felt like a visitor in the house of God.
Yeah.
Any church that I had been to, it was like, I'm here as a visitor. I was arm's length with God.
Yeah.
And I really just felt like unworthy. I carried so much shame that I literally believed I don't belong here with these people.
Wow.
And so when I walked into my church for the first time and was in the worship environment, it's the first time that I really felt like, I think like the love of God. And I became so emotional. I cried through the whole service. It was everything from the language to the prayer to the you belong here to the welcome home.
Aww.
But it's not like that day I just went, oh yes, I do belong. It was like a journey. That was like the starting point. I think that was like, it piqued something in me that went, could I have this all wrong?
Whoa.
And so I just kept showing up. I kept coming back because there was something that was stirred in my heart. I wanted to know more.
Yeah.
But it took me a while to actually like understand and believe.
Yeah.
No, like I had heard, yeah, your sins are forgiven, all
Yeah,
these things.
yeah.
It's like,
Yes.
but it was actually a journey of me getting to know the heart of God. Yes. It's the greatest.
So I think that's amazing. You coming into the house of God, I mean, there's so much history behind you, right? It's like, how old were you when you came into our
I was
house?
38.
38 years old. And so you have, as we all do, there's a story. There's all kinds of chapters.
Yep.
And up to that point, would you say that you felt a need or an urgency to go, I'm going to go on a, inner healing kind of journey. I'm going to have a healing journey. Like that, at that point, right? There was no real desire, would you say?
No.
What was it that made you go, I've got some stuff. I've got some stuff and I'm carrying some bags here. And wait, maybe I'm not supposed to be carrying this stuff. Like, did you have that moment? Can you bring us into that moment where you realized, I've got stuff in my life and maybe I don't have to carry this around?
Yeah.
When was that moment of revelation for you?
So the moment, I mean, like I said, being a part of church and learning the character of God, learning the heart of God, like that was a journey in itself, even through, being at Sisterhood events and just, surrendering some things.
Yeah.
But it's like there was an area of my heart that I just kept locked away so tightly.
Yeah.
It's crazy, right? Because it's like I felt like,
That's
I'm here.
Most people.
And I'm, but
all
it's
of
like,
us, yeah.
but I was just so it was ingrained in me to just keep it locked up.
Oh yeah.
And hidden from God.
Yeah.
It's like I would always think, but not that.
Yes.
It's like I understood, you know, God's character in his heart, but it's like, but not towards that part.
Yeah.
And I think I just was so accustomed to locking it away. I was like, I'm just not going to go there. I'm just going to move on.
Yeah, like it almost didn't exist.
Right.
Right?
I hadn't even really let my husband in to what had happened.
Huge.
You know, in my childhood and all of those, you know, emotions that started to bubble up. But that was when I really went, okay, like, I should probably pay attention to this. But I still had a lot of shame. I had a lot of shame around the emotion. I had a lot of shame around all of the things that happened. I had a lot of shame that I didn't have my crap together.
Right.
You know, you just feel like you should just be able to.
I should be further along.
I should be further along. I should be able to sort this. It's like, and I had never even talked to God about any of it.
Yeah.
Never even taken it to, never.
I feel like that is massive. Because here we are going, because I always say your most safe and trusted relationship on this side of eternity and the next is your relationship with Jesus.
Yeah.
Yet, we all know that up here. But there's the fear of if I involve him and reveal that part of my life, that painful part, that trauma, that abuse, that neglect, those words, all the pain stuff, will he still accept me and love me the same?
Yeah.
All the while, I mean, he sees it all, right? But what's beautiful too is, I mean, he's a gentleman. I always say that. He will not force. He works with us, right?
Yep.
And he walks with us. And honestly, it's like you came to that moment of like David, like search me, you know, Psalm 139:23. Search me and know me.
Yes.
See if there be a path of pain. Am I walking? Oh gosh, I'm walking on a path of pain I'm not supposed to be walking on. Like uproot it out of my heart. I'm tired of, like, would you say you came to the, like, I'm tired of carrying this pain, this trauma around.
Yep.
Perhaps there's something better for me. Perhaps I don't need to be so heavy.
Yes.
There's a lighter way to live.
Yep.
And like letting him in, letting, you know, your relationship with Jesus, let's start there. What was that like, letting him in to a bit of the trauma and the pain?
It was honestly, it was terrifying because I just kept it hidden for so long.
Yeah.
But it was also, I think part of it was like, I had dreaded feeling the pain.
Of
I
course.
just didn't want to feel it.
Of course. Right?
Like, who wants to feel,
revisit old wounds.
you know, like just heartache.
Oh, yeah.
And like heartache and shame and anger and all of the things. It's like, who wants to feel that? I feel like I spent my whole life avoiding feeling that.
Numbing it.
Right.
Distracting yourself from it.
Yeah, numbing it. Like, oh my gosh.
There's all kinds of ways we all do that.
Yeah.
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 But when you did kind of bring him in on it, it did launch you, though, you know, having that safe, a place to be brave in your relationship with Jesus and your community did launch you. Because what kind of happened? Was it like, oh, I'm still loved. He still loves me.
Yeah.
And you actually discovered his love even more because
100%.
his love invaded those dark places.
Yep.
That,
and it was right around the season that we did the She Is Free book study.
Oh my gosh.
And oh wow.
I think we can all return to that season and go, oh, wow, God did something so beautiful.
Like I read
in all of us.
I read
shout out to Pastor Andy.
Pastor Andy's description
what a gift
of
she
like
is.
Being on the ground and crying out to Jesus.
Oh yeah.
And that's the moment that I had.
Yeah.
I had a moment where I was by myself, which rarely happened. Yes. And I almost felt like God was creating the space for me to just have a moment with him.
Yeah.
And I think I was like, I looked at the time after, it was maybe 3 hours.
Yeah.
and I just sobbed. I was on the floor at some points. I had worship music on. I made a playlist. I remember making a playlist. And it was, I think I even called it Free. Just funny, because it was the She Is Free season. I was like, I just need a playlist for this time.
It's like a breakup playlist.
Yeah, right?
You put Kelly Clarkson, Since You've Been Gone.
Yes.
Some Katy Perry.
But it was all the songs that I felt like would just speak to my heart in that time.
Yes.
And there was just like immediately almost like a lifting.
Wow.
Like just, I just felt like
supernatural.
The heaviness.
Yes.
Just being lifted. And like you said, like, you know, like that I wasn't meant to carry it.
Yeah.
That's what I felt. I just felt like like finally, like almost like a scooping up, like, okay, we've got this.
Yeah.
So,
wow. And I mean, I think we underestimate. I think that's why we run to all like the numbing, what we were just talking about, or being entertained and distracted. We run to these outlets, you know, I don't know what the vice is, but some of us it's food, or it's television, or it's social media, or alcohol, drugs. I mean, there's all control. We all have our vices. And we underestimate the simplicity of just being with Jesus, being in his presence, being in his word, and the transaction and the trade that happens, how we trade our pain for his peace, and we trade our sadness for his supernatural, out of circumstance joy. Like, maybe you're one of the most incredible examples of disciplines, and you build your life, as my husband says, not by default but by design. You are so intentional with your time and with your days. Your daily grind is so intentional. Maybe bring us in on what have been your daily disciplines that have led to you not only, you know, launching into this season of healing and truly coming out the other side just so much better than ever, but what would be, you know, you're like, this has changed my life by doing this every single day? What are those things?
My 5 a.m. alarm.
5 a.m. Oh,
my 5 a.m. alarm. My
amazing.
time with Jesus.
Yeah.
Like, I needed to create the space to connect with him every day.
You had to
and
carve
just to
it out.
have that space, I had to carve it out.
Yes.
I started counseling. At first it was weekly.
Yes. Yes. Of course.
Then praise God, after 8 months we moved to bi-weekly, but like I needed to create that space.
I've made progress. Bi-weekly.
Right?
Yeah.
And then after counseling, it was creating a space for me to just process the emotion.
Yeah.
So those were the main things. And also just creating space to feel.
Yeah. Good.
And that's something that when I first started it, I was like, oh, the emotions would come up.
Yeah.
I would be processing things in counseling and not have the time, and then I'd just be
Back to
going
life.
home to cook dinner.
Yeah,
It's like, wait a second, what?
Yeah.
I needed like to breathe.
Air out.
I remember one time sitting at the end of my street calling Steph and going, I just can't go home, and I was like sobbing.
Yes.
And it's like I thought like I had no just time to like breathe and process. And so that's where I started to go, okay, I need these blocks of time. Just for space. Time with Jesus. Time to processing counseling.
With somebody
to
who's
actually do the work. You know, and actually, because there was work. Yes. You know, there was time with Jesus, there was time in the Word. Like the pages of my Bible, I've shared that with the ladies in my Connect group. It's like tear soaked, like underlined, circled, like
it's marked. Literally.
It's marked. And every time I flip to that page, it's like that.
You're remembering.
I remember the season. It's like of realizing, it's like the verse that talks about bringing your shattered heart to Jesus.
I love that. That's our scripture for this season, Psalm 51.
Oh my gosh.
You don't want my performance. You want my shattered heart before you.
That's the spread. So where it talks about, you know, develop in me a clean heart so that I may show others, other guilty ones. And that's what I feel. There was a point where I felt like there was purpose in my pain.
Yes.
So yes, I was doing it for me, for my children.
Yeah.
But as soon as it kind of switched to go, oh my gosh, like he's going to use this to help other people.
Oh, of course.
And almost immediately I was having people like, oh, can we have coffee? And it's like I'm having a conversation with someone. I'm in my pain.
Yes.
And I'm talking to someone who's navigating something similar. I'm going, okay, I see what you're doing.
Yes.
And it actually gave me the fuel to keep going.
Yes.
Even in the times when it felt like, this doesn't feel great.
Yes.
I was like,
you're hitting something so important.
But if I I just keep thinking of when I was, back then, if I had someone that was able to share that with me, I might not have gone 38 years before even beginning the journey of having a relationship with Jesus and understanding God's heart towards me.
Wow.
So that's, oh gosh, it's just so important.
Yeah.
So important for us to be able to share with people our journey.
And equally, I love how you said, I was in the pain. You're in process. You're not on the other side. I mean, we're going to walk this out, right? Until the end of our days. We're going to continuously be transformed, you know? And obviously, at the moment of salvation, we have been given a clean and a new heart. Yeah. We are transformed in a moment. There's the healing journey though, right?
Yes.
There's the past, there's your history, and there's, mindsets and ruts that we get stuck into that need to be transformed. But I love how you didn't wait until you reach some, moment of, I'm now ready to help other people. No, instead, you're like, I'm in it. But hey, I'm gonna right now extend it to other people. I'm not gonna wait until I reach some desired destination. But what even is that?
Right.
I think so many of us, when we're walking through our own pain, when we're in counseling, and we're going through some real stuff.
Yep.
The temptation is to tuck yourself away and create a hidden season of like, don't look at me, nobody look at me. I'm in process. I'm in, like a whatever caterpillar becoming a butterfly. Like everything's tucked away. I love the grace of God, how He enables us in our weakness. He is strong. That is when He's shown to be who He is. Yeah. It is just so not about us. He'll use us in every season to love and bless, encourage. Yeah. And it's also part of the testimony. Yeah. I think people look in and go, wow, I know she's really walking through significant healing in her life, but look at how her attention is not fixed on herself, but her attention, though she's taking care of herself with God, her attention is, how can I show the other ones who are walking in pain? How can I tell more people about how loved they are and how, Jesus loves them? Like, I just love that about you. You've never set yourself aside. No matter what it is that you're going through, you always show up. You're consistent. You walk with people no matter the season you're personally walking through. And I believe it's why you're coming out on the other side so whole and so, so much more who God has called you to be, is because you're not focused on yourself, right? You're focusing on helping others. You've created space in your life and in your home, even through this season, to show up for so many women in your Sisterhood Connect. And honestly, it's inspiring to watch how you have been consistently available. It's like, come, and you've created a space for other people to step into their healing. But it's because you have launched into your own. Right? Now you can release that to other people. Yeah. So I think that's a beautiful place to kind of close, because my encouragement, and you said it already is, you know, though we're all going to walk through some stuff, and though, yes, I'm sure we all need counseling.
Yeah.
I'm a fan. I'm like, it wouldn't hurt anybody, right? To sit down and just work through some stuff. We are all processing some kind of pain of the past, or maybe you're walking through people are walking through things, you know, presently. But I believe, honestly, if you want to remain healthy, keep your perspective on God and on others. The man who isolates, he who isolates, you know, himself seeks his own, rages against all wisdom.
Yeah.
I mean, so easy to get self-focused in this season. But let's keep our eyes on helping other people step into their healing as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, any last encouragements for our women as they're watching?
I mean, I would say just start.
Yeah, good.
Like, just start.
Yeah. Good.
Because it doesn't happen overnight. It's a journey.
Yeah.
And it can be scary to go there and feel the things.
Yeah.
But it's like, just start and trust that, you know, Jesus is right there to walk it with you.
Yeah.
This community is right here to walk it with you.
Yeah.
It's like, I could have never done this without the safe space that this church has been, that this community has been, that these Sisterhood Connect groups have been.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
Yeah, just start.
Yeah.
I love that. Start moving. Start nudging yourself towards God and towards your healing. And eventually you'll find yourself, you know, moving from there, but just start somewhere.
Yeah.
Start nudging yourself, moving yourself towards your wholeness and healing. Which I love. Would you say your girls, I mean, personally, would you say they would be a big part of your why?
Yes.
Why you began your journey of healing?
Yes.
And dealing with the stuff of your soul and your past and everything?
100%.
Yeah.
They are a big part of my why. And, you know, when it comes to making sure that we're raising a family that's different or that's healthy, because that's the thing, is ever since coming to this church, it's like you and Caleb have always been so passionate about building healthy families.
Yeah.
And that is where I look at, you know, my kids, and that has been a driving factor. I want that for them.
Yeah.
And it starts with me.
Wow.
Because an unhealthy me means an unhealthy marriage, means an unhealthy family dynamic for my kids. And they're learning through observing me.
Oh my gosh,
and observing us.
Constantly observing.
And
that's beautiful.
I thought, wow, like, it's just really dawning on me, these little things that come up, how, you know, they'll want to pray for something, or they'll just say things that I'm like, wow, they're really watching everything we do.
Yes.
So wild.
Yes, because I feel like the greatest gift we can give to our kids, the next generation, those we're leading. You know, there's always somebody that you're leading, whether you're 12, you know, my daughter looks up to the 13-year-old across the street. She's like a model to her.
Yeah.
So no matter what age you're at, whether you have natural children, because, right, some women watching and listening, they're not thinking of natural children for why they want to be the healthiest version of themselves, but there is somebody who is looking to you, no matter what stage and age you're at. You're an example to somebody. You know, as a youth leader, I was an example to the 12-year-olds who I was having a small group with. And now, yes, I have natural kids in a church, and there's been entrustment that's grown, but every single one of us, there's somebody watching. And there's somebody younger who's looking up to you, you know? So I just think that's beautiful, and it's just really simple. And it makes me think of Holly Wagner. She's like, I live my life, and I lead, and I do what I do for the younger. There will always be somebody younger looking up. Or even somebody same age, or somebody, I mean, we can learn from each other. There's always somebody watching in and watching your world and your life. I love that. I think it's beautiful. Michelle, I love you. I'm so grateful that you have opened up your heart. I know it's a privilege, honestly, it is, to hear so candidly your story. And so we honor you, and I'm grateful for you. And I know that, hey, the story that you have had in the past is going to be such a blessing to so many. But the story you're writing in this season with your family, with your husband, in this house is just, gosh, we're just scratching the surface. But I'm just excited that you have boldly shared your story with us. So everyone put your hands together for Michelle. Why don't you thank her? And we're going to have an amazing Connect Group night.
Yeah.
We're just beginning, truly. So ladies, have an amazing night. And yeah, just enjoy one another, and let's have some incredible conversations tonight. I love you so much. Mwah.